In this video, I thought we could have a little bit of a chat about my December TBR. I haven't actually made a TBR video in quite a few months. However, December is obviously the last month of the year. It's my favourite month of the year because it's my birthday month. I will tell you towards the end of the video some of my plans for my birthday. I'm turning 35 this year and I'm feeling a certain way about it. But again, like I said, I'll talk to you about that towards the end of the video because we're going to start by talking about some books. I know that this TBR is it's a bit ambitious, but I'm hoping you can help me narrow this down. If you haven't seen, I'm currently working on a reading vlog project, a reading challenge project, where I'm trying to get my Kindle TBR below 100 books before the end of the year. Final vlog will be going live some point towards the end of the year. I want to try and build the suspense to see if I can actually do it. As I said, I need some help. I've picked out some books that I have on my Kindle that are calling out to me. These are the books that I feel most drawn to. And I need you to tell me if you've read them, if you think I'm going to love them, because I'm still holding out hope that I'm going to find a new favourite book of the year in December. Top of my list, we have one that I'm actually unsure of. Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood is an age gap romance set in Italy. And I'm wondering whether this has too much of a summer vibe because it's right there in the title. It's a summer romance. Would I be better off leaving this for next year? I have read one of the book by Ali Hazelwood this year. I read Deep End and it was okay. I really liked the plot, but I didn't love the romance. However, I have given Ali Hazelwood 5 stars in the past. Love Theoretically is one of my favourite romances of all time. So I need you to tell me if you've read Problematic Summer Romance and Deep End. Let me know if you had a preference. If you didn't like Deep End, but you liked Problematic Summer Romance, let me know why. And hopefully that will get me feeling more hyped to pick it up. Night Watching by Tracy Sierra is a thriller that I think is more of a suspense, but this has been on my radar for a while because the whole concept behind this is it's following a mother who has 2 young children at home. There's a blizzard going on outside, and just as she's tucking her son into bed, she hears a noise. Now, they live in an old house, so you know, noises aren't too uncommon, but it sounds like footsteps and it's a home invasion type story. If there's one thing you need to know about me, it's that the concept of home invasion really makes me feel anxious. So I think there's a possibility that I would love this, but I haven't heard anyone talk about it, I don't think, in a while. I can't remember who recommended this to me initially, and I don't think they even recommended it directly to me, but it just has some buzzwords that make me think, yeah, that's going to have me on the edge of my seat. When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill is one that I've had on my Kindle for a while. I think I'm going to love it. I believe this is literary fiction with a speculative twist. It's a feminist tale set in the 1950s in America, where one day thousands of women spontaneously transform into dragons, and we're following a main character who I think they're quite young, but their aunt transformed, their mother didn't, and it's all a bit hush hush. No one really talks about this. With it being set in the 1950s and with it being marketed as a feminist story, I think women turning into dragons is going to end up being a metaphor for something. That's my expectation going in, but I've heard really good things about this and I need to prioritise it. I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman, I think is actually translated fiction. This is about a group of women who are imprisoned in a cage underground, and it's described as a haunting, heartbreaking, post-apocalyptic novel of female friendship and intimacy, and the lengths that people will go to maintain their humanity in the face of devastation. I really like speculative dystopian fiction. Something about this makes me think it's going to be along the same lines as Octavia Butler's book, what's it called? Parable of the Sower. And that was one of my favourite books of last year, I think it was. I have heard amazing things about this and it's quite short. I feel like it's going to be really impactful. Will Prescribe You a Cat by Siyu Ishida is another book that I have on my list that I believe is translated fiction. This is about a mysterious clinic that offers a unique treatment where people who find themselves there are prescribed a cat as medication. I think it's going to be about the love of cats. It's reminding me a little bit, just I feel like it's going to give me the same feeling as The Travelling Cat Chronicles by Hiro Arakawa, which was another of my favourite books a few years ago, one of my favourite books of all time. If a book has a cat on the cover, you're going to see another one later, but if a book has a cat on the cover, then you know I'm going to want to read it. I feel like this is going to give cosy but emotional vibes, which is exactly what I want at this time of year. Violetta by Isabel Allende, I think is also translated fiction. I've got a few on my radar, but this is one that I've been wanting to read for ages. It's about a woman whose life spans 100 years and she bears witness to some of the greatest upheavals of the 20th century. I haven't read enough historical fiction this year, but I love books that follow a main character over decades and you get to really see them develop as a person and you feel that connection to them as a character. So very curious about this one, and I've heard really good things about this author in general. Two books that I do own physically, but I will be reading them on my Kindle. First up is Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mendel. This is, I think, sci-fi. I had a quick look on Goodreads and it says it's a novel of art, time travel, love and plague. I think this is about a pandemic. I think I got this from Toppings in Bath and it was a blind date with a book, so I didn't know what the book was going to be. I bought it based purely off the little synopsis that was written on the front. I can't remember what that was because I bought this quite a while ago, but I love this edition. I think it's very pretty. I don't know if you can see the foiling on the cover, and it also has stenciled or printed edges. Sci-fi, like historical fiction, is a genre that I tend to love when I actually pick it up. It's just not a genre that I prioritise over like fantasy or romance or thrillers. So I'm really hoping to pick this up before the end of the year, and as you can see, it is another short one. This next book, I actually have the US cover because I bought it when I was in New York last year, nearly 2 years ago, but it is Start a Villain by John Scalzi. I'm gonna have to hold this in a certain way so that it doesn't reflect my ring light. Actually, I'll just put a picture on the screen. Editing me is going to be annoyed, but I will just put the picture on the screen to make it easier. I don't know how to describe the synopsis for this, but it's about a main character who has inherited his uncle's supervillain business. And it's more complicated than you might think because he discovers the place is being ran by cats. I have never read anything by this author. I bought this book purely because of the cover, and I waited until I was in the US to buy it because I wanted this particular cover. I'll see if I can put the UK cover on the screen as well so you can compare. I much prefer the US cover. My partner has read quite a few books by this author and has enjoyed them, so even if I don't like it, then hopefully he'll read it and he'll like it more than me. I shouldn't talk like that. I should go in with positive expectations. It's got cats in it, and as I said earlier, I'm down for reading any book that's about cats, even if they are supervillains. The final book that I'm tentatively putting on my TBR is To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. I haven't looked into the synopsis for this. All I needed to know is that it's written by Becky Chambers, and I have been loving the Wayfarers series this year. I'm actually currently reading book 3 in that series and I have a good feeling it's going to be another 5 stars. So I was actually speaking to my partner last night about us doing a buddy read over Christmas, and I think this would be pretty perfect because it's only a short novella. I think we could read it in one sitting on Christmas Day or something like that. He's never read anything by Becky Chambers, but he is a big sci-fi reader, so I think there's potential that we would both love this. I believe this is about a group of scientists who are sent out into the galaxy and they are trying to colonise certain planets that previously would have been inhospitable. I don't want to read much more than that, but I'm very excited to do a buddy read with my partner. We've been buddy reading an entire series this year, but this is much shorter, and I don't think we've ever buddy read a sci-fi together, but considering it's one of his most read genres, and it's a genre that I tend to enjoy, it's going to be good to see what we both think of this, and hopefully, even though it's quite a short novella, I feel like there's going to be a lot that we can talk about just based on my experience with the Wayfarers series. Apart from my reading plans, I also have quite a few other plans in December. December is always a busy reading month, and also it's just a busy social month with it being my birthday, as I think I mentioned at the start of this video. I'm going down to London with my partner for one weekend. I think we're doing a long weekend. He's planned it all for my birthday. We're going to see a show, and then we're also hopefully going to do some book shopping. Lots of book shopping. We did something similar a few years ago, and there's a few bookstores that I haven't been to yet that I have on my radar. I haven't been down to London, I don't think, in well over a year, so that will be exciting. exciting. And obviously we're going to be going to lots of Christmas markets. I'm going to see Wicked with my mum in, I think, about a week as of the time that I'm filming this video. And yeah, it's just going to be a really, really good month. I'm trying to manifest it because this month has also been busy, but there's also been quite a lot going on and I've been feeling a bit overwhelmed, but I've got some time booked off work as well over Christmas, which is going to be exciting. And of course I need to start planning my end of year content. I don't want to plan my best books of the year though until obviously it's actually the end of the year, because I have a feeling there's a new favourite somewhere in this TBR. Let me know, as I said, in the comments any of your thoughts and feelings on any of these books. Let me know if you've got any plans for December that you're excited about, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Click subscribe if you would like to see more videos from me, but otherwise I will see you next time. Bye.